You're out of your bounds, Ahmed. You're here to translate.
Actually, I'm here to interpret.
John, you have tallies approaching.
We owe that man your life.
There wasn't enough for him to carry me across those mountains. Now he's hiding in a hole somewhere. I should be in that hole.
That was a clip from Guy Ritchie's The Covenant, which tells the story of a U.S. Army sergeant who makes it his mission to save the interpreter who once saved him. The movie is in theaters across America this weekend. The stars of Guy Ritchie's The Covenant join us now, Jake Gyllenhaal and Salim. Thank you both for being with us today. Jake, who knows how many scripts arrive in your inbox? Why this script? Why this movie?
Well, first of all, you know, I've wanted to work with Guy Ritchie for a long time. There was something about this story that was just, it was a parable, you know? It was about doing good reluctantly. I feel like America is made up of heroes and sometimes reluctant ones, but that is our fabric. That is who we are. And I felt that when I read it. I felt like it made me proud to be an American. And in that way, I wanted to be a part of it.
Yeah, what an optimistic, hopeful message. Dar, I was reading up on your biography a little bit earlier. I know you were born in Iraq. You left for Denmark at an early age. This movie takes place in Afghanistan, and while we know that's different than Iraq, those two wars were sort of married at the hip for several decades here in America. I'm curious, what from your personal life helped inform your role in this movie?
You know, Denmark was part of both wars as well, alongside with the U.S. soldiers, and a lot of my friends are veterans from those wars, and I've spoken to a lot of the interpreters as well from both places. And I think it's a universal story more than it's about Afghanistan or about Iraq. At the heart of it, you have two men from very different backgrounds, very different cultures. And we're so often told about our differences and what divide us. But at the end of the day, this movie shows us that much more unite us.
It's hard to separate this, and I know this movie is fiction, but from the reality of what happened 2 years ago in America's exit from Afghanistan. I personally, through the fortune of this job, have gotten to know many, many special forces warriors who did the job that they felt like the American government did not do in helping their interpreters, their partners, get out of Afghanistan, many of whom still remain to this day. And I'm curious, having made this movie, how you see it fitting into real life and how real life might have informed you in making this movie.
Oh, I mean, absolutely real life did. One of my closest friends was a Marine. He fought in Fallujah. He fought in many different battles, and his interpreter saved his life. His interpreter, he will say it on himself. He's told me I can say this. You know, he owes his life to him. But yeah, I mean, 300 Afghan interpreters have been killed by the Taliban since 2001, and there are thousands more waiting for visas. And I think that idea, you know, we are a country whose ethos is no one left behind, and that's what this story is about. And so I think it strikes a chord there. But I think first and foremost with this, and particularly with narrative filmmaking, it's really about entertainment and enjoying it. And it's a very tense story that Guy Ritchie has told. It's just full of tension. And I think, you know, that's why people go to the movies. You know, I go to the movies to say, are you going to tell me a story that I'm going to want to stay for, that I'm going to be riveted by? And that's what's been done here.
You know, we live in a time when America, well, quite honestly, there are many people who don't have a hard time seeing the goodness in America. But in this movie, can we see not just the goodness in people, but in the goodness in America?
I think absolutely. I think it is a movie about the best of what we can be. And I got to say, you know, I'm in the movie. It's oftentimes not as easy for me to watch movies I'm in and be emotionally connected to it. But when I got to the end of this movie, particularly right before the credits rolled, I was not only were, I think, relieved of a particular kind of tension that held me throughout the whole movie, and I knew the story, but I was so moved. I mean, I sat there crying, watching what happens at the very end. And it just reminded me, I walked out feeling proud to be an American and knowing what we can do and what we can be.
That's odd. Because that's how I feel at the end of Fox and Friends. 4 hours of Fox and Friends, I usually cry and feel proud to be an American. So who knew we'd have that in common? Jake Gyllenhaal.
You gotta love your job. You gotta love your job. That's the most important thing.
It moves me as well.
Even when it's difficult at times.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. We look forward to seeing The Covenant.
Thank you so much.
All right, The Covenant is out now.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.